4 weeks before my mom passed away, it was my 17th birthday. She demanded to be taken to the store because she wanted to buy me a birthday present. She was very sick, but she was a strong, stubborn woman, and this was gonna be the last time that she celebrated one of her kids' birthdays. So she went to the store, and when she came back, I sat at her feet, and she pulled out a yellow candle, a yellow clock, a yellow picture frame, a yellow blanket. My growing up years, she had always called me Sunshine. You know, she would say, you know, you're so bright and happy all the time. Her reasoning in getting me these gifts that were yellow were to remind me to continue to be just that, to continue to be sunshine. That was the most important thing, and to shine in who I am just as a person, and in everything you do, let it shine. Let yourself shine through. Looking back on my life as a little girl, I really believed that, you know, I loved to people please. And I believed that if I could just be good enough, getting the good grades, behaving at home, being nice to my peers, that life would smooth its way out for me. By the time I was 17, I learned that that's not how it works. Just because you try your hardest and you do things that are good doesn't always mean that everything is gonna be great for you. And in fact, that actually isn't what allows us to become the best version of ourselves. My greatest challenges are what have actually shaped me into the woman I am today. And as much as I would never want anyone to feel some of the pain that I went through as a child, I'm also grateful for it because it has allowed me to push through some challenging things in my life. When I first heard about ultramarathons, it was just in a magazine. I had never known that these races existed. Not only that, like why people would do them. Why would you go out and run for 160 kilometers in one day? What was the draw to that? The marathon is 26.2 miles. An ultra marathon is any distance beyond that. Races that could be, 27 miles to 300 miles and more. When I ran my first one in 2010, it was an 80-kilometer race. I fell in love with it. I remember crossing the finish line and thinking, like, that is incredible. I was able to do that. I really love that. Now it's been a decade of me running in these races and competing. A lot of the challenges that I had as a child, a lot of the pain and the loss that I went through, I look back and I realize, like, wow, we are so much more resilient than we think we are. And I think the draw with ultramarathons is that it's such a beautiful parallel to life.
In August, Sally McRae returned to Chamonix in the French Alps to compete in the Ultra-Trail du Mont Blanc. This 171-kilometre loop is regarded as one of the hardest foot races in the world, and with good reason. Incorporating staggering climbs and technical descents, the course passes through 3 countries on its journey around the Mont Blanc Massif, racking up nearly 10,000 metres of vertical elevation. For many of the 2,500 runners who begin the race in Chamonix, it could take as long as 46 hours to complete.
I know going into that square that it's going to be loud. You hear the music and you can hear the people. You look up at the hotels and the apartments all around you, and people are hanging out of their balconies and their windows, and the streets are just jam-packed full. So that's one of the things I really appreciate about this race, is just the passion, the excitement, and everyone is there because they're excited to see you race.
After leaving Chamonix, runners first tackled the 1,700-meter ascent of Col de Vosa. Spanish runner Pau Capel took an early lead, whilst in the women's category, American Courtney Dewater led the charge. As the leaders left the rest station at Saint-Gervais, Sally McRae followed closely behind.
About 5 miles in, I felt really good mentally and my legs felt great. I feel like I did a really good job drinking my water, taking in my nutrition. I told myself, stick to your pace and take care of yourself.
As night drew in, the runners continued through the darkness, guided by their headlights and the cheers of gathering crowds. At the front of the pack, Pau Capel held the lead, followed closely by the 2018 UTMB champion Xavier Fevenard. For the women, Chinese runner Yao Miao was now in front. Sally McRae was now approaching her 4th hour of running.
It's a beautiful night.
This was Sally's 5th attempt at the Ultra-Trail du Mont Blanc. In her 4 previous attempts, she'd suffered from a combination of poor weather, fatigue and illness. Nevertheless, her passion for the race, the running and the atmosphere of the crowd is what keeps bringing her back.
It was like midnight. The trails are still lined with people. There's crowds everywhere. People are honking their horns in the street, and it's amazing. It is so exciting. And there's children everywhere. I mean, even like at 1 a.m., it's crazy. You'll be running through the forest, and there'll be like a family that has just built like a little fire in the forest, and they're out there just to cheer you.
Despite Sally's optimism, she suffered from dizziness and low oxygen levels throughout the night. After her descent into Italy the following day, she was forced to receive medical attention, a lengthy stop which resulted in her losing time on the rest of the field.
The middle of the race, I hit a very low patch and my body didn't feel good, my stomach didn't feel good. And then at one point, I talked to my coach and I was just like, I just feel really terrible. And I don't even know if I should, if I should continue on. And he said, yesterday, you told me no matter what that you're gonna finish. And I want you to remember how you felt last year when you didn't finish. I know you don't wanna feel that again.
With the new day, runners at the front of the pack were beginning the descent into Chamonix. After 24 hours of continuous running, Courtney Dewater completed the race as the first female runner.
It was a really tough day.
But that's why we love ultra running, right? That's why we love it.
And in the men's category, it was Pau Capel who claimed his first victory in the UTMB. Back out on the course, Sally was battling illness and injury as she attempted to reach the finish line.
I was still pretty far back, but I worked myself up from 42nd place to 23rd place. Your legs are hurting, you're tired, you just want to get to the finish. But I felt like I was actually the strongest in those last 3 climbs, and a lot of it just had to do with where my mental space was. I just need someone to say again, like, you can do this. How about we take a second to remember why you worked so hard? Yeah, it's not going the way that you want it to, but let's see what happens if you just keep going. The last 2 aid stations, a bunch of my friends and teammates came out.
You're amazing! Love you!
Just seeing the picture of them as I'm running into the aid station, and they're just cheering for me, and they're so excited that I'm there, believing in my performance. And I thought for a minute, like, this is really why we do this. These moments, this has nothing to do with our placement or how well we're performing. We're out here supporting each other, and this is a memory, this snapshot. I'm gonna have this for the rest of my life.